What's good, everyone? Welcome to the Power Up podcast, episode number 9. I am going to be running out of fingers soon, so we're going to see how we approach that here in the future. But we're here and we're going to be talking about the latest news, and also we're going to be doing a review of the Capcom Fighting Collection number 2. But first, as always, we're going to be giving our shout out to the Southwest Florida FGC with the results for Southwest Florida FGC weekly number 133. In Tekken 8, we had tied for 7th place, Fighting Focus. Tied for 7th place, newcomer Ute. Tied for 5th, we had Mr. Worldwide. Also tied for 5th, your boy, Sir Snorlax. Coming in 4th place, we have Zoe Valentine. In 3rd place, we have Crispy Crisps. In 2nd place, we have Spiker. And in 1st place, Flamio. Moving on to our Street Fighter bracket. Tied for 7th place, Ute. Tied for 7th place as well, Sir Snorlax. Tied for 5th place, Fighting Focus. Also tied for 5th place, Lennon. In 4th place, we have Walt Coyote. In 3rd place, we had Big Boss Brandon. In 2nd place, we had Mr. Worldwide. And in 1st place, Spiker. And for our 3rd bracket of the week, we had Capcom versus SNK 2. In 7th place, we had Crispy Crisps. Tied for 5th, we had Big Boss Brandon. Also tied for 5th, we had Spiker. In 4th place, we had Ute. In 3rd place, your boy, Sir Snorlax. In 2nd place, we had Fighting Focus. And in 1st place, we had Frank Gaines XP. So we're going to get into our league tournament points for our Tekken bracket, for our Tekken league for the Southwest Florida FGC League. We have in 20th place, we have Tripa Seca. In 19th place, we have Ute. In 18th place, we have Cruisin'. In 17th place, we have Frank Gaines XP. In 16th place, we have Oblivion. In 15th place, we have Fighting Focus. In 14th place, we have McLover. In 13th place, we have Lost Hero. In 12th place, we have Mr. Worldwide. In 11th place, we have Foz. In 10th place, we have Zoe Valentine. In 9th place, we have your boy, Sir Snorlax. In 8th place, we have TV Tengu. In 7th place, we have Savage Mela. In 6th place, we have Spiker. In 5th place, we have Kazibara. In 4th place, we have Samurai Soda. In 3rd place, we have Mary Chango. In 2nd place, we have Flamio. And in 1st place, Crispy Crisps. Moving on to our Street Fighter Southwest Florida FGC League. In 20th place, we have Frank Gaines XP. In 19th place, we have Lost Hero. In 18th place, we have Black Flash. In 17th place, we have Prox. In 16th place, we have Rock Brawny. In 15th place, we have Fighting Focus. In 14th place, it's your boy, Sir Snorlax. In 13th place, we have Scourge. In 12th place, we have Rich Dan. In 11th place, we have Casual Sam. In 10th place, we have Noodle. In 9th place, we have Walt Coyote. In 8th place, we have Big Boss Brandon. In 7th place, we have Bakira. In 6th place, we have Lexatron 3000. In 5th place, we have Professor Peanut. In 4th place, we have Foz. In 3rd place, we have Mr. Worldwide. In 2nd place is Spiker. And in 1st place, we have Harold. So thank you all, as always, for supporting the Southwest Florida FGC. We love to see our competitors continuing to grow. So, moving on to our news, we have a lot of news to cover. We'll start off with Sony. This news comes from videogameschronicle.com. Sony tipped to announce PS5 Pro and PS5 discounts this week. Sony's Days of Play reportedly set to return with price cuts to PS5 range. PS5 Pro is reportedly set to receive its first official discount this week as part of Sony's annual Days of Play event. According to gaming sleuth Bill Kuhn, who regularly reveals PlayStation promotions before their official announcements. According to Bill, Days of Play 2025 will kick off this Wednesday, May 28th, and see the standard PS5 edition console slashed by €100 in Europe. PS5 Pro is set to receive its first official discount, meanwhile, at €50 off. In addition, the PSVR 2 headset will reportedly receive a €50 discount, and a selection of DualSense controllers will also will be available for €55. Sony will reportedly announce a roster of Call of Duty Black Ops 6 hardware bundles. A standard PS5 plus Black Ops 6 download bundle is set to be launching at $449.99 with a digital console bundle costing $50. Sony is expected to reveal all of its promotional offers on Tuesday, May 27th, via Bill Coom. It's not clear yet. It is not yet clear how many of these promotions will be offered in the U.S. outside of the Black Ops bundles. Bill has supplied only European pricing, and Sony is yet to respond to the U.S. trade tariffs with any significant price increases as Xbox and Nintendo have. In Europe, Sony recently increased the price of the PS5 Digital Edition to €499.99, up from its previous €449.99, an increase of €50. In the UK, the console now costs £429.99, up from its previous £389.99, an increase of £40. So we talked about it last time, where we're expecting Sony to, bring up prices to be in par with what has been happening across the gaming world and hardware going up. It'd be a nice surprise to see if we get a price cut, and will it be a limited time or will this be a permanent cut? We'll have yet to see. We'll yet to see if Sony really, decides to follow through and make a price increase on its hardware, as others have, like Microsoft and Nintendo. So it'll be interesting to see in the coming weeks of what's going to happen. By the time this is released, we'll be a day away from the Days of Play announcements. So we'll see what happens with that. The next news article also comes from Video Games Chronicle. Switch 2 supports USB mouse controls, developer reveals. A standard mouse can be used instead of the Joy-Con 2 mouse controls. Koei Tecmo posted a video on Thursday showing gameplay footage of the Switch 2 version of strategy game Nobunaga's Ambition Awakening Complete Edition. In the video, producer Michi Ryu demonstrated the game in action using the right Joy-Con 2's mouse control on screen to control on an on-screen cursor. Ryu pressed the SL button on the side of one of the Joy-Con 2, at which point a message on the screen indicated that the controller was now in mouse mode. By pressing it again, the Joy-Con 2 switched back to controller mode. The functionality is the same as the already released Steam version, allowing for left click, right click, and wheel operations, he explained, showing that moving the Joy-Con's analog stick up and down in mouse mode has the same functionality as moving a scroll wheel up and down. Ryu explained that while using the right Joy-Con 2 for mouse controls, he can also use the left Joy-Con 2 for various shortcuts such as speeding up and slowing down time or moving to different castles. For those who get used to it, operating via these shortcuts can make the game flow more smoothly, he explained. He then plugged in a standard USB mouse, confirming that these can also be used with Switch 2 hardware. When the mouse is plugged in, a message on the screen shows that the mouse is connected and takes priority over the Joy-Con 2's mouse controls. Ryu then showed that it was possible to use the USB mouse with the right hand, but continue to use the left Joy-Con 2 with the left hand, meaning all the controller shortcuts are still available even when using the standard mouse. USB keyboards and mice can also be plugged into the original Switch, but because not many Switch games feature keyboard or mouse support, their use is limited. Because Switch 2 includes mouse controls built into the Joy-Con 2, the number of games that support mouse controls and therefore a USB mouse is likely to be significantly higher. VGC's Chris Scullion recently wrote an opinion piece on the Switch 2's mouse controls, suggesting that although they were perfectly accurate and intuitive, the fact that Joy-Con 2 controllers are much smaller than the standard mouse means it could prove uncomfortable over long periods of time, especially for players with larger hands. I can't help feeling that there's money on the table waiting for either Nintendo or a third-party peripheral manufacturer to come up with something that will make the setup more comfortable for players who plan on playing certain games with mouse controls for extended periods of time, the article says. I can't imagine playing Civilization 7 for hours on end with my hand like a claw and not suffering for it the next day. The confirmation that Switch 2 supports USB mice will likely go some way to address this issue, although some Switch 2 games have more advanced mouse functionality that may not support a standard mouse. For example, Metroid Prime 4 still requires the use of the right Joy-Con's various buttons while it's in mouse mode, while some of the Super Mario Party Jamboree Switch 2 edition's new mouse-based minigames make use of the Joy-Con HD rumble at the same time, something a standard mouse can't provide. So that is very interesting. We will see what games are going to be able to utilize the mouse support that is included with the Switch 2. The Switch 2 is right around the corner. We'll see how all of that is going to play out and how the release goes. And I'm definitely looking forward to it. I don't know when I'm going to be able to pick up Switch 2 because I was not able to get a pre-order, but maybe there'll be some available after launch. Moving on to our next story. This was a story that I had heard, but it was kind of in a rumor, sort of thing until it was very recently made official. This write-up also comes from VideoGamesChronicle.com by Jordan Midler. Ex Machina director Alex Garland to helm Elden Ring movie for A24. George R.R. Martin will serve as a producer on the film. Alex Garland will write and direct a live-action Elden Ring adaptation, it has been announced. A24 and Bandai Namco Entertainment will produce the film, which has no release window. According to Deadline, Peter Rice is set to produce the film alongside Andrew McDonald, Alan Reich from DNA, George R.R. Martin, and Vince Guerrero. I cannot even try to say that name. Geraldis. I hopefully said that right. Martin worked on the original game, providing some of the game's backstory and world building alongside series creator Hidetaka Miyazaki. Alex Garland has also previously wrote and directed Annihilation, Men, and Civil War. He also wrote 28 Days Later and Sunshine, both of which were directed by Danny Boyle. Garland and Boyle recently reunited for 28 Years Later, which is out next month. Garland has history in the video game industry, having co-written Enslaved, Odyssey to the West. He was also a story supervisor on DMC Devil May Cry. That's probably not something we want to, promote. That doesn't make people feel better. At least some. I wasn't a fan of that one. Released in February 2022, Elden Ring is comfortably From Software's biggest commercial hit. From Software recently announced that the game has sold over 30 million copies in 3 years. For comparison, as of March 2024, the entire Dark Souls trilogy had sold around 40 million copies. A multiplayer spin-off, Elden Ring Reign, will also be released this year based on the world of Elden Ring. Night Rain ditches the lengthy single-player adventure for a fast-paced co-op action game with roguelike elements. This film adaptation of the property is the latest video game film adaptation in the works at A24. The studio is also currently working with Kojima Productions on an adaptation of Death Stranding. A Quiet Place Day One director Michael Sarnowski, I probably did not say that correctly either, will direct the film adaptation of Hideo Kojima's game. Sarnowski will also write the film. It is currently unknown how involved Kojima will be in the project, though Kojima Productions is co-producing the film with A24. Kojima's next game, Death Stranding 2 on the Beach, will be released June 26, 2025. So big news out of the films industry with video game adaptations continuing to come about, and we'll be talking about another one here in just a few minutes. But are you excited for an Elden Ring movie? I played Elden Ring. I enjoyed it, but I played it with friends. I don't know the story very well. I did not get too deep into the lore. So how deep into the lore it will go, how faithful of adaptation it will be with the lore, I don't know. But it looks interesting. It sounds interesting. And A24 is a pretty great studio. So, we'll see how that all turns out. We don't have any sort of indication on what's going to come of when it's going to come out. So, that'll be something we wait for. The next story also comes from Video Games Chronicle from Jordan Midler. Lies of P is getting difficulty options to make the Souls-like more accessible. The game will offer 3 levels of difficulty for the base game and the expansion. Lies of P Overture will introduce difficulty options to try to increase the number of players who can enjoy the game. Difficulty options in Souls-likes are rare, with From Software's games featuring no such options. While much of the community celebrates this and the difficulty of those games is part of why they have enjoyed such popularity, some players have argued that a lack of difficulty options prohibits potential players from enjoying the genre. Now, Lies of P Overture developer Neois has announced that it will introduce difficulty options in its upcoming expansion. We wanted to make sure a wider audience of players could play the game, said game director Jiwon Choi. When asked if this decision was based on player feedback, we responded, "Absolutely. We have a lot of feedback from customers and from our developers. So by making development adjustments and introducing these difficulty options, we can offer the experience to different types of players. This broadens the base. The new difficulty options, Butterfly's Guidance, and Awakened Puppet will be added in a patch released alongside Lies of P Overture. The game's difficulty level will now be named Legendary Stalker. The default difficulty level will be named Legendary Stalker. VGC recently got a chance to play Lies of P Overture as well as the new Battle Memories mode. A sequel to Lies of P is currently in development, and Lies of P Overture serves as a great intermission between the 2 acts, reads our preview. The Sioux is a great location for an expansion and extremely well designed. The new additions to the enemy roster will give players dozens of new patterns to learn and attacks to dodge. Lies of P's new difficulty system is perhaps the most interesting addition of the whole package, and one that has potential to bring a new audience to the beloved genre. At the same time, the harder difficulty levels of the new Battle Memories mode will give players a chance to sharpen their skills before the full sequel to the game arrives. I'm going to say this right now. I'm all for the difficulty changes. the difficulty levels being added to the game. I have not played Liza P. I've heard a lot of great things about it, but I've also heard it's very hard. And for someone who doesn't get to play a lot of games, I don't want to be wasting a lot of time trying to get through a game because it's too difficult. Uh, with that said, I also understand the other side that people may not be too happy about it. So we will see how that all turns out. Moving on to our next story. Game Pass is adding Metaphor ReFantazio, Division 2, and more next week. This was from last week, so it's coming out very soon on May 29th. Microsoft has announced the next wave of Xbox Game Pass games arriving next week and beyond. Notably, Atlas's Game of the Year nominee, Metaphor ReFantazio, will join Game Pass Ultimate, PC Game Pass Standard for cloud, PC, and console on May 29th. A week earlier, on May 22nd, Tales of Kenzera Zhao will join Ultimate Game Pass and PC Game Pass, and Stalker 2 and Senua's Saga Hellblade 2 will join Game Pass Standard. Tom Clancy's Division 2 will join Game Pass Ultimate, PC Game Pass Standard for cloud, PC, and console on May 27th. The next big day one releases are Monster Train 2, which is already out. Spray Paint Simulator, which releases on May 29th. So we have a lot coming out, a lot of big games coming out for the Game Pass. I have the Game Pass. I play a lot of games on the Game Pass. It's a great value, although it's gone up a little bit. And now with Xbox seemingly raising its prices on its hardware, unless you have a PC and you don't want to make that investment, it's going to be a little difficult. But to have Metaphor on there, that's a game I want to try. I haven't played it. I still have a lot of other games to get through, like Clair Obscur, which we talked about before. But that's going to be on the radar to try out. And I heard a lot of great things about it, so it's just going to be another game to add to the list of things that I need to play. But it's awesome. I will say this. There are a lot of games that I've played on the Game Pass that I eventually buy, like a copy of, just because I love the game so much that I want to, own it. Because, games come and go from the Game Pass. So, for those that have not gotten a chance to try out Metaphor, that now's a good time. And the Game Pass gives you that chance to do it. Moving on to our next stories, coming from Kotaku.com. Xbox just added 50-plus classic Activision games to Game Pass. MechWarrior 2, Kaboom, Pitfall, River Raid, and more are playable across all Xbox platforms and PC. Surprise, if you are a Game Pass subscriber, you now have access to dozens and dozens of retro video games, and Xbox and Activision plan to add even more classic games in the future. On May 21, Xbox announced that over 50 retro Activision games were now available via a new app called Retro Classics. The new app is available only via Xbox Game Pass for Xbox One, Xbox Series S, PC, and streaming. It is available to all Game Pass subscribers, including the Game Pass core members, unless you live in Japan. Let's ignore that it should obviously have been called Xbox Retro Arcade. Instead, focus on the new app. That wasn't me. That's directly from the article. According to Xbox, Retro Classics is powered by Antstream Arcade's streaming game tech, which is a mostly solid way to instantly play tons of games across many different platforms. The new app supports challenges, multiplayer, multiple saves, weekly tournaments, user profiles, and leaderboards. And yes, Retro Classics has achievements. Finally, you can get a nifty Xbox achievement for playing River Raid. This initiative is a step in our commitment to game preservation and backwards compatibility, allowing players to experience many timeless games on modern devices, said Xbox in a post on the company's website. So what games are currently available on Retro Classics app? Here's some that I spotted and tested. Kaboom, Pitfall 1 and 2, River Raid, Grand Prix, Commando, Barnstorming, Fishing Derby, Mech Warrior 2, which I actually kind of interested in trying. Oh, and Freddy Farkas, Frontier Pharmacist, is available too. That's a game that a young Jeff Keighley helped test back in the day, long before he had a whole game award show. According to Xbox, this is just a start of plans to adding more Activision and Blizzard games to the app in the future. While I'm not a huge fan of streaming old games like this and would prefer actual downloads and offline play, this is still better than nothing. It's nice to see Xbox digging into Activision's deep library of classic games and doing something with them after buying the publisher back in 2023. If Microsoft wants to own the entire game industry, the least it can do is make it easier to legally play old stuff it gobbled up in the process. Game preservation, to me, is very important. As someone who's been playing games for a very long time, almost my entire life, and having a lot of games be stuck on certain consoles, I'm looking at you, Metal Gear Solid 4. And we're going to talk a little bit more about game preservation when we talk about the Capcom Fighting Collection 2. But this is cool. Like I said, I'm kind of interested in trying out MechWarrior 2. I haven't played MechWarrior 2 in a long time. I loved MechWarrior 3. I haven't played MechWarrior 5. I should probably give that a try too. It's on Xbox. But this is pretty cool. This is pretty awesome. It sucks that you have to be online. It would be nice if they did an offline mode that you can download the games like it says. But, you know, it's a step in the right direction, I guess. So check it out if you want to check that out. Next, we're going to talk about Fortnite. Fortnite. Two news stories that have come out about Fortnite. And you know, the very first one is that after a very lengthy years-long battle between Apple and Epic Games, Fortnite is finally back on the U.S. App Store. I think it's like a 5-year absence. But now there's another legal problem that they have. Comes from a tweet from Discussing Film. SAG-AFTRA has filed an unfair labor practice charge against Epic Games for its use of AI for Darth Vader's voice in Fortnite. The post reads, "We celebrate the right of our members and their estates to control the use of their digital replicas and welcome the use of new technologies to allow new generations to share in the enjoyment of those legacies and renowned roles. However, we must protect our right to bargain terms and conditions around uses of voice that replace the work of our members, including those who previously did the work of matching Darth Vader's iconic rhythm and tone in video games." Fortnite's signatory company Llama Productions chose to replace the work of human performance with AI technology. Unfortunately, they did so without providing any notice of their intent to do this and without bargaining with us over appropriate terms. As such, we have filed an unfair labor practice charge with the NLRB against Llama Productions. Yikes. That's I'm not for AI. I'm just gonna say that. I know that James Earl Jones signed the rights over to his voice being used in AI, and that's what we heard in I want to say Obi-Wan, maybe Rogue One. I can't remember if we went back that far. And since the passing, obviously, you know, we have to use other means to do Darth Vader's voice. And I know there's been plenty of actors who have done Darth Vader's voice in the past. So to utilize AI in Fortnite, I'm not surprised, but gotta do things the right way. That's just my thing. That's my take on it. I mean, they should have seen it coming. They really should have seen it coming. So, yeah. Our next news story comes from Kotaku.com. Kenneth Shepard writes, Cyberpunk's 2077 sequel will return to Night City as well as take us somewhere new. Cyberpunk creator Mike Pondsmith compares the new city to Chicago gone wrong, which to me, what the hell? Okay. We still don't know much about the Cyberpunk 2077 sequel currently at works at CD Projekt Red. Development on the RPG codename Orion is in full swing after the studio wrapped support for the original game last year, but the team is still keeping most details about it under wraps. Other than a few informal quotes here and there about the vibe it's trying to capture. However, Mike Pondsmith, the creator of the cyberpunk tabletop role playing game, which first debuted in 1988, has revealed a pretty important piece of information. Alongside returning to the capitalist hellscape of Night City, the sequel will take us to another city as well. Speaking to Polish gaming channel TVGRY. I'm not going to try to say that because I will screw that up. At the Digital Dragons conference in Poland, Pondsmith talked a little about the upcoming game, revealing that Orion will take place at least partially, though not entirely, in Night City. He described some talks he had with CD Projekt Red team, uh, and said that while he's not as involved in the sequel as he was in 2077, he can say that the game will feature a second city that is more like Chicago gone wrong. I spent a lot of time talking to one of the environment guys, and he was explaining how the new place in Orion, about how the new place in Orion, because there's another city we visit. I'm not telling you any more than that, but there's a new city we visit. Pondsmith said Night City is still there, but I remember looking at it and going, "Yeah, I understand the feel you're going for this, and really does work, and it doesn't feel like Blade Runner. It feels more like Chicago gone wrong." I said, "Yeah, I can see this working." Assuming Pondsmith is being careful with his words here, this doesn't explicitly mean Cyberpunk's next game is set in Chicago specifically, which does still exist in the universe. He describes the new location as being like the city, so it's probably not the Illinois metropolis itself as of yet. It's unclear in what ways the new setting will resemble Chicago in its infrastructure, its culture, unbearable cold winters. We'll find out eventually. What I'm curious about is how much of a divide there will be between this new city and the Night City we know and love. I know exploring an old map in an open world game might not sound that exciting, but Night City is still one of the most well realized cities I've ever explored in a game, and I imagine CDPR isn't too keen to just throw all the work away if there are still stories to tell. I'm also wondering if the studio will include some kind of choice import to have the story of 2077's Merc protagonist be referenced in the sequel according to your decisions. I don't need a cameo from the guy, but I wouldn't mind a drink at the Afterlife bar, paying tribute to his big space heist at the end of the game. I'm also going to just throw this out there. It could be her too. Depends on which V you went with. It could be her too. Um, it's exciting. I am a big fan of Cyberpunk 2077. I initially I bought the game, but I never tried it until the PS5 came out, with all the bugs. But I have not seen a game go from such a low to such a high before. It's one of my all-time favorite games, for sure. I've played through it a couple times now, and I'm probably going to do another playthrough. I'm probably going to get it on the Switch too, just to have it portably. That's the kind of person I am. But Chicago gone wrong. I want to know what that means. I want to know what that means because, well, what Chicago are we talking about? Because Chicago doesn't have that great of a history. No offense to any people from Chicago that I know, but we all know that Chicago, much like other places in this country, are not the greatest. Not saying it's bad, just saying if we're talking Chicago gone wrong, to what degree are we talking about here? Because it's like saying New York, gone wrong. It's like I'm from Queens, I know what Queens is like, and if we say Queens gone wrong, I'll be like, yo, maybe I don't want to go there. So we'll see how that goes. It's gonna be interesting. Orion is the project name. I don't know if that'll be the remaining. Maybe that's the name of the city. Who knows? but it'll be very interesting to see where we go with Cyberpunk. We also have Witcher, 4 coming out soon from CD Projekt Red, so we don't know how far out that is, along with how far out Cyberpunk is going to be, the sequel to Cyberpunk 2077. I'm very excited for more Cyberpunk. Like I said, I love the original. I loved Phantom Liberty too, the expansion of it. That was a fantastic DLC and an extra story. And how they tied it into the core game was amazing. So I'm ready for more Cyberpunk for sure. For sure. Next, I'm going to get into some trailers. The first trailer I want to get into is going to be a announcement trailer that came out about Hellblade. So let's take a look at the announcement of the PS5 port of Hellblade 2.
Today, on the 1-year anniversary of the release of Senua's Saga Hellblade 2, we're excited to share some news with you on the game. We're so happy to tell you, our fans, that Hellblade 2 will be coming to PlayStation 5 this summer.
That's a creepy ass picture.
This version of the game will include some new features, which will also be coming to Xbox and PC at the same time as an update. We have such incredible fans of Ninja Theory on PlayStation, going all the way back to the days of Heavenly Sword, and we're so pleased that we can welcome PlayStation fans back to Senua's story. And so the team have been working hard to optimize Hellblade 2 for both PlayStation 5 and PlayStation 5 Pro to give you the very best experience we can. And we look forward to sharing more details with you soon.
So that's very interesting. That I've not played the original Hellblade. I definitely want to try that out. But this game, there's a lot of back and forth, but overall positive critiques on this game. For it to be coming on PlayStation, just another move from Microsoft to bring games to other platforms, which is great. A year later, are people still going to be interested in playing the PS5 version? If they've already played the Xbox, 2, are they still interested overall, even if they've not played this on the Xbox? So that'll be an interesting tidbit to go through. The next trailer I want to get into is a DLC announcement from Monster Hunter Wilds. So let's take a look.
Has the weight of my fist sparked a killing intent within you, Hunter?
Yes. Yes.
Now to seek
Yes.
death and face it down.
I want to show you get a dinosaur. That's all I'm saying. Blanca Chandal costume.
Masterfully grilled, Hunter. I'll show you, Harris. K.O. Akuma wins! Yes! This is the battle I hunger for!
Couple days.
Die 1,000 deaths.
Oh, hell yeah.
Misots.
Okay. I don't. I don't. I still don't like the soundtrack. I'm sorry. I still don't like the soundtrack. I still don't like the Street Fighter soundtrack. I'm sorry. We got this coming, and I'm excited for it. It's gonna be very interesting. I have Monster Hunter Wilds, and I will do what it takes to get this DLC, this armor set that you get gives you these abilities. So it's gonna be cool. It's a nice crossover. Um, I'm certainly ready for that. So I'll try it out. I haven't played that much Monster Hunter. I probably should have played a little more than I probably have, but yeah. The next news story involves Street Fighter. So just a little segue. Um, the announced Street Fighter adaptation from Legendary Pictures has had some rumors about potential um, actors being tapped for this project. Um, this write up comes from Jordan Midler at Video Games Chronicle. Roman Reigns and Jason Momoa tapped for Street Fighter movie adaptation. The film will be co-produced by Capcom. Several actors are in talks to star in an upcoming Street Fighter adaptation from Legendary Pictures, it's claimed. Andrew Koji, Jason Momoa, Noah Centineo, and Roman Reigns are all in talks to join the project, according to Deadline. The upcoming film adaptation is reportedly a co-production between Capcom and Legendary Pictures. Street Fighter has received several adaptations, both live action and animated. The most notable live action adaptation came in 1994's Street Fighter film starring Jean-Claude Van Damme, Raul Julia, and Kylie Minogue. So, Street Fighter live action adaptations. The 1994 movie that I pretend doesn't exist, although it's tolerable thanks to Raul Julia's performance as Bison, because, you know, when you deliver a cold line as, you know, the day Bison graced your village was the most important day of your life, but for me, it was Tuesday. You know, damn, that's cold. But it wasn't a great film. I still question the casting of Jean-Claude Van Damme as the Colonel Guile role. We also had the Legend of Chung-Li. That wasn't that great. Kirsten Kirk. I can't remember. I don't know how to say her name, but old girl from Smallville, and you know, Euro Trip and several other movies and projects. As Chung-Li. Robin Shou, who played Liu Kang in the original Mortal Kombat adaptation, playing Gen. The tease at the end of Ryu and the World Warrior Tournament. The casting wasn't great. The story wasn't great. The Bison in that movie wasn't that bad either. It wasn't Raul Julia, but it was a more kind of grounded. It was just took some liberties I didn't enjoy. Then we had Assassin's Fist. Assassin's Fist, to me, is so far the best adaptation of Street Fighter, live action adaptation of Street Fighter. And it was, you know, teasing a World Warrior season that never came about. When Street Fighter V came out, they did that short series for Resurrection as a tie-in, which brought back Charlie. But overall, they had a great project, and they were never able to do anything with it. So now Legendary is taking a shot at it. Andrew Koji as Street Fighter's Ryu, I'm down for. I've seen him in Warrior, and I feel he could fill that role. That's the role that he's tied to. Noah Centineo as Ken, And the other two rumored actors, one being Jason Momoa, is supposedly tied to Blanca, which I feel would be a great fit for him. And then WWE's Roman Reigns as Akuma. I don't know how to feel about that one because I feel that the build is there. I just don't know. I just don't know. Um, so we'll see how it goes. They legendary Capcom. Don't screw this up. Don't screw this up, please. In a world where we've gotten so many great video game live action adaptations like Sonic, The Last of Us, can't think of another one at the very top of my head at the moment, but so we're in a world where we're getting a lot of great live action video game adaptations. Now's the time to get Street Fighter right. Leave it at that. Leave it at that. The next news story that I would like to cover is kind of a sad one, but you know. Kingdom Hearts had a mobile game coming out, Missing Link, that was supposed to give us some story background that'll tie into Kingdom Hearts 4. It has been canceled. So, from the development team, we have made the decision to cancel the development of Kingdom Hearts Missing Link. We wish to convey our heartfelt apologies to everyone who has been looking forward to the start of service. Although we worked hard on developing and adjusting the game in the hope that it would be enjoyed by lots of players, we determined that it would be difficult for us to offer a service that players would find satisfactory over a long period of time, leading us to the decision to cancel development. We would like to take this opportunity to express our thanks to everyone who gave us their support and assistance. With the multiple closed beta tests, we are truly sorry to have to make this announcement. The Kingdom Hearts series will continue. We are hard at work at Kingdom Hearts 4 and hope to continue to support the series as you keep an eye out. We hope you'll continue to support the series as you'll keep an eye out for further updates. So, with that said, there was a Kingdom Hearts 4 update coming directly from the Twitter X page that reads, "To our Kingdom Hearts community, we are currently working hard on Kingdom Hearts 4 and will continue pouring ourselves into the game's development. We're dedicated to making this an experience that lives up to your expectations. We've seen how excited you are and are grateful from the bottom of our hearts. We are equally excited and can't wait to share more about Kingdom Hearts 4 when the time is right. Until then, we appreciate your patience. Thank you for your continued support." This was tweeted out and alongside this image cluster, collage, whatever you want to call it, of images from the Kingdom Hearts 4 game. Notably, there's been a lot of changes to the designs of the characters from the original reveal trailer that was released years ago. But I'm just going to ask the question. Hey, Mickey, where you at? What's with the library? That's what I want to know. That's the one that really stands out to me. The Heartless look very different, almost humanoid-like, and that's kind of scary. I haven't finished Kingdom Hearts 3, and I will be finishing it very soon, I hope. What the hell's going on in this game? That's what I want to know. I can say that the cancellation of Missing Link, I feel, is probably good. If they didn't feel like they were going to put out a good product, why bother? With that said, y'all had announced Kingdom Hearts 4 so long ago. Give us something. And the way your tweet read, it don't sound like we're getting anything anytime soon. Give us something. A crumb. A crumb. Just a crumb. You already gave us a little something, and now you've redesigned it. You release all these pictures. Are you going to release a new teaser? I'll take a teaser. I'll take it. You know why? Because it's better than nothing. It's better than nothing. Better than nothing. So with that said, we're going to move on to our next story. Combo Breaker wrapped up this weekend. And we had quite a lot going on at Combo Breaker. We had a reveal that we'll discuss a little bit later. But some of the results were actually pretty awesome. In Street Fighter, Leshar took first place. Leshar used Ed to close out the tournament, but also utilized Mai and Terry after beating Itabashi Zangief. We saw an awesome match between Endwalker and Blas in the Ryu mirror. Seeing Ryu and Akuma, let alone two Ryus and an Akuma in top 8. I love it. I love it. I love my Shotos. Okay. Two Mai's in top 8. So that was awesome. In Combo Breakers Tekken 8 tournament, Mulgold took the crown. And in Fatal Fury, Go One took first place. And during the Tekken, going back to Tekken, we had a pretty big announcement, and we're going to take a look at it here. I never changed. My bad. Let's go back. We're just going to... Moving on to our next story. Combo Breaker wrapped up this weekend. And we had some awesome matches, both Street Fighter and Tekken, which was what I primarily watched. We also had Fatal Fury, Grand Blue, Fantasy versus Rising, Guilty Gear, King of Fighters. But I'm going to focus on our Tekken and Street Fighter results mostly. In our Street Fighter bracket, Leshar took first place and also was also using Ed to close out the tournament, but also used Mai and Terry, beating Itabashi Zangief. Blas's match in the mirror with Endwalker was also pretty awesome. I'm a Shoto guy. Gotta love it. I loved seeing the Ryu mirror. There was an Akuma in top 8 as well. We had two Ryus and an Akuma in top 8. That was also pretty freaking awesome. In Tekken 8, in first place, we had Mulgold taking a top in first place against Atif. Earlier in the top 8, Atif beat Arslan Ash in what was probably one of my favorite matches of the entire night, just because it was the Anna Nina match. Arslan Ash's Nina versus Atif's Anna. That was an awesome match. But overall, the entire top 8 was fantastic. And I also know that the top four have four of the winner's side. I believe everyone in the top 8 has now qualified for the esports World Cup with this tournament. So that is also pretty awesome. Not that they all took a spot during this tournament, just 4 of the top 8 had already qualified. So therefore, the other 4 automatically qualified as well. So that is pretty awesome. 560 points went to Mogold in this season's Tekken World Cup with this event. So the points are being racked up. We'll see how Tekken World Cup continues to progress. We also had a Tekken 8 announcement during this, so we will take a look at that announcement, gameplay trailer for Fakuram. But there was also a reveal that occurred during this, so let's check it out.
Get ready for the next battle. Tekken 8. New challenger.
I never get tired of the announcer. Never get tired of the announcer. Damn.
貴様、なぜあんな弱者どもに従っている？
Damn. Lots of knees, lots of tiger knees. Nice. Rage art. Jesus. Got release date July 7th, July 10th, July 7th for the early access, July 10th for the official. But wait, there's more. Armor King. Armor King is back. For everyone that was pissed about Fakuram coming back, they're now, I feel that they're satisfied with the fact that Armor King is going to be coming back. I will say this. Oh, hit the wrong button again. Um, I am looking forward to Armor King. I will probably try out Armor King, not to replace my main, because Lars is my boy. But everyone's very excited about Armor King. The next stop, Second World Tour is CEO. With that said, with the Armor King reveal, I don't know if we're gonna get anything. Maybe we'll get a like announcement wise. Maybe we'll get some of the things that have been talked about. Has been a Street Fighter 6 reveal of the season 3 characters, and then maybe we'll now with this announcement, maybe we'll get Armor King gameplay. I really don't think this close to these reveals with Fakuram not even being out at that time that we'll get anything other than that. I don't think that new character will be revealed. Maybe we'll get something for Guilty Gear. That would be my guess. Maybe we'll see Lucy from Cyberpunk Edge Runners. So that'll be cool to see. I'm looking forward to that character. I want to try that character for sure. Cyberpunk fan, what can I say? And I loved Edge Runners. I still haven't finished it, but I love that Edge Runners so far. I need to wrap up on the last episode, I think. But I honestly don't see us getting any more announcements at CEO from any of the major games. Like I said, maybe we'll get a season 3 reveal. But I don't know. I really don't know. It'll be something to see. So now let's get into my review of Capcom Fighting Collection 2. I personally was very excited about this collection because it brought a lot of games that I really enjoyed, games that I've never played. And specifically, I'm talking about Capcom vs. SNK 2 being the game that I really love. Games that I didn't know existed or that I knew existed but I never tried, like Project Justice and Plasma Sword, which are in this collection. Games that I enjoyed, like Power Stone 1 and 2. One game that I really did not enjoy, which was Capcom Fighting Evolution. It brings also Street Fighter Alpha 3 Upper and Capcom vs. SNK Millennium Fight 2000, which was the original Capcom vs. SNK. So these 8 games in this collection, like I said, I was very excited about this collection to release. We talked earlier about game preservation and having these games accessible to the modern consoles. All these games have online play with rollback netcode. Some people have said that the rollback netcode on this one isn't as great as it was in the Marvel collection that just recently came out. So there might be some patches that we see along the way. But overall, it's been well received by the collection. The Southwest Florida FGC tournament that we had for Capcom vs. SNK 2 this past week was played. We played Capcom vs. SNK 2 version on this console version. So I felt very good with it. There's some settings that we'll talk about a little bit later on about it, but getting into the collection itself, starting off with Capcom Fighting Evolution. Not a great game. So according to the developer Ono, this was pretty much a put together game of what was the unreleased Capcom Fighting All-Stars, which was to introduce Ingrid as a character, which is in this game. I do believe she came out on a version of Alpha 3 as well. I don't know if she's in Upper or not. I'll have to look at that. But I didn't like it. So you get characters from Street Fighter 2, Street Fighter 3, Street Fighter Alpha, Red Earth, Darkstalkers, each with their own kind of system. So like the Alpha 3 bar is different from the Street Fighter 2 players characters bar and the Alpha. So everyone has it's there's a lot of balancing issues because of it. So the game was not very well received. Um, the cool thing about all of these games is that if there are hidden characters in any of the oh yeah, we had to hit um, that special always. If there's hidden characters in in the games, we there's an option to have them unlocked. So Power Stone. Power Stone is a 3D arena fighting game. Um, the first one, as you're seeing here, the first one plays very different to the second one. Here we see a match. You collect the stones as you're fighting. You use the environment hazards that are disposable to you in every different stage. The arcade mode is very linear, so you go stage, but kind of like in a fighting game. But the stages are in 3D. You collect the stones throughout the match to get to transform, depending on the character. In two, I used Wang Tang. So in this one, I wanted to try out Falcon. Um, I still could not figure out how to throw, and I didn't want to lose the stone, so I went ahead and just didn't throw the bomb like I should have. Um, like I said, one and two play very differently. Here you'll see me transform and using the powers available to me. It's kind of like a Ryu Ken type situation with Wang Tang and Falcon, I believe. I feel as though from the game that I've played, a little bit of the game that I've played. I played Power Stone 2 before, but don't know much of its actual lore. They're both fun games, and like I said, I feel both of these games are very party-like games. I certainly can't say that you'll see me pouring hours into Power Stone 1 and 2 unless I'm playing with friends. Power Stone 2 um, does play quite differently. I'm going to skip ahead here into Power Stone 2. Like I said, now we've got 4 characters on the screen. The stages are bigger. The hazards are still there. The items are still there. You'll see in this stage how you'll move about the stage, and you'll end up at the very end of the stage. You'll end up in a very different area as you continue to move throughout everything. The way they swim, they like do this like that, and it kind of bothers me a little bit. I wish there was a different way to swim. But here you see the goes because it's raining fire. So as it's raining fire, we're gonna move towards a different part of the stage. Now here in this area, the camera angle here threw me off completely. Now, not to say that all the stages are like this, because not all of the stages are like this. They're all very different. And the way you progress through the arcade mode is very different as well in this game. Because it's like a map. You're trying to, find your way out of the castle or find your way to the castle. I can't remember exactly how they worded it, but you go through the map, and as you progress through the game, you travel through the map as you beat each stage. The specials and the fighting mechanics of the game are pretty different in both between 1 and 2. Like I said, here we'll be going through a different part, moving into the castle here, and then we end up here. The 2 that didn't come through land like that, yeah. So overall, like I said, it's a very fun party game. Like I said, I don't see myself pouring hours and hours into playing this game. But I will say, in a party or fun type vibe environment, I would definitely play this with friends, in teams or solo. So it's definitely a fun addition to the collection. And again, it's one of these are games that were stuck in the Dreamcast era. Um, so it's fun to have these types of games in the collection on modern systems. Moving forward, Project Justice. It's a sequel to Rival Schools, which I did play. I never played Project Justice until now. I hadn't heard about Project Justice until this game got actually announced, and didn't realize that Project Justice was a sequel to Rival Schools until the game got announced, until this collection got announced. I had heard talks of Project Justice, but I didn't put two and two together in the past. So that's my ignorance. Characters like Akira have appeared in Street Fighter V, for example. Um, it's a very fun game. This is definitely a game I do see myself playing a little more, going through the story. So there's two modes. There's free mode, and then there's like the story mode. And I think you have to like pick like specific team members for the story mode, as opposed to in free mode where you just pick anyone. I think they're preformed teams. And they each tell a different story. Story wise, it takes place a year after the original Rival Schools game. Sakura is not in this one. Having gone through the character list, as opposed to it where she was included in that game. The team up techniques are pretty cool here, as you can see there. I'm getting my ass kicked, but overall, like I said, I really did enjoy playing this game. I don't ever play boxers, but I wanted to try something different in the team. So I probably in the future would stick to Batu and Akira, and try to figure out what a third team member would be. But I do see myself playing this more now that I've gotten a chance to actually try it out. And this is another game that was stuck in that 2000 era, Dreamcast era system. So it coming out to a modern console is pretty awesome. And that's what these collections are all about. I mean, we had the first collection of Capcom Fighting Collection. Had some games that we hadn't seen in a while, so it was pretty cool. And the Marvel Collection came out as well, so it was just all about game preservation, and getting to play these games online as well is pretty awesome. Here we're looking at Plasma Sword, which is also called Star Gladiator 2, or Star Gladiator Episode 2. I actually had quite a bit of fun playing through the little bit that I played through to get this footage. It's a very interesting gameplay. It's 4 buttons. I had never heard of these games. I knew about Hayato from 2 games before. Street Fighter EX2 Plus and Marvel vs. Capcom 2. Specifically Marvel vs. Capcom 2. And I really enjoyed playing this game, and I am going to try a little more of it. I know that lore-wise, it takes place after like a year, also a year after. There's a year after is pretty much a very common theme in this game's the original game. But overall, I enjoyed the fighting style of it. So that was it's pretty cool. I mean, it's a lightsaber game. He had a light axe, I guess you could call it. Getting into Capcom versus SNK Millennium Fight 2000. So here, the ratio system is so messed up. So you get 4, right? You get 4 spots. Each character is measured at specific character is measured at a ratio, right? So I could have, like, Ryu is a ratio 2, so that leaves me with 2 slots. In this instance, I decided to go with ratio 1 Cammy, and it left me to play another ratio 1 character, so I picked King. And this, I felt that this style of ratio was very flawed, because it really limited what teams you could create. And I know you didn't want super unbalanced teams, but still, it just felt I don't know. I didn't like the way that ratio system works. As for the gameplay, the grooves were introduced in this, but this just has a Capcom groove and an SNK groove. So the Capcom groove, like most super meters, work in Capcom games, and the same thing in SNK. Um, it's a 4-button game. It's not like the traditional Capcom fighting game that's 6 buttons, like traditional Street Fighter games with your low, medium, highs. It's just the 4 buttons like SNK games, which did feel a little off because the mechanics of the characters didn't feel like they transitioned well to that type of style, as opposed to SNK versus Capcom Chaos, where it does feel like it fits a little better with how the gameplay was made. So I felt that was a little bit of a flaw. Um, it didn't. It's not a game that I would play often. I prefer Capcom versus SNK 2, and we're gonna talk. Like I said, we're gonna talk about that at length. But in this, like, the mechanics of it just didn't feel right to me. There was a lot of things that I felt could have been done better with this game, and then subsequently we will see that in the iteration of Capcom versus SNK 2 and what changes they made there. But for this game, I felt at the time, 2000, this is a huge crossover game. I feel that at the time, it was a great game, but once you play 2, this just feels very outdated. Nice to have on the collection, again, part of game preservation. But I don't know. It's not a game that I feel that you'll see me play very often in the future. And again, it's like I said, one of the biggest problems to me was how the ratio was balanced and how the characters play. So, moving on to the next game, and we're going to talk about Street Fighter Alpha 3 Upper. So, Street Fighter Alpha 3 Upper is an updated version of Street Fighter Alpha 3, or Street Fighter Zero, as it's called in Japan. I love the Alpha series. The Alpha series is my favorite, Street Fighter Alpha being one of my favorites. With that said, I really enjoy the differences between 2 and 3. You got the different isms, the different, the V, A, and all that, the X-ism, the V-ism, the A-ism, how different they are between the games. The overall gameplay is still very alpha. I know in one of the isms, and I can't remember which one it is at this very moment, some of the techniques from the alpha games are taken away, like air blocks and things like that. But overall, I really enjoy this game. Upper, if I add 6 characters that were only available in the um, the console versions of the game. So DJ Fei Long, I want to say Guile T Hawk, and Evil Ryu, and Shin Akuma. I want to say those were the ones that were added on to the original. So if you play Alpha 3, you won't see those characters, but here you will. There are certainly different types of changes. I think there's a glitch in the Vism that was removed in this game. That was, for lack of a better term, patched out. I do believe there is a change in some of the voice of the characters' voices. So overall, it was a re-release on arcades to going upgrading from the CP System 2 hardware to the Naomi hardware, which is based on the Dreamcast based one. Um, in the arcades, you could bring in customized characters with your VMU card, so that was also cool. Um, so Capcom versus SNK 2. There's gonna be I'm gonna talk a lot about this game right now. So Capcom versus SNK 2. So when we talked about the grooves and the ratio, so now we've got six grooves, and the ratio system. You basically pick your characters and assign the ratio. Also, I want to apologize because you'll probably see the lines. I did not remove the filter off of this specific game, apparently. I thought I did. So you'll see the lines, but just something to talk about as well is the fact that these games come with these like CRT filters that just make it look just a little bit better. Um, so there are two versions of Capcom versus SNK 2. There's the original, and then there's the EO version. By default, the Capcom Fighting Collection plays the EO version of the game. You can switch it though, so you can switch between the two. And the biggest difference, one of the biggest differences I know about between the original and the EO version of the game, roll canceling into a move does not grant invincibility like it did in the original. Um, so that was one of the things that is a little bit different between the two. But you can set it to play the original, and what you're seeing right now is the original version, not the EO version. Um, the roster is deeply expanded. I think there's like 40 something plus characters. This game changes over from the 4-button SNK style gameplay to the 6-button style gameplay. So our character roster goes from Akuma, Balrog, Blanca, Cammy, Chun-Li, Dan, Dalsum, Eagle, Honda, Guile, Ken, Kyosuke, Bison, Maki, Morgan, Rolento, Ryu, Sagat, Sakura, Vega, or Balrog, whatever you call them in whatever country you're looking at, Yun. We have Athena on the SNK side, Benimaru, Chang, Geese, Hoamaru, Hibiki, Iori, Joe, Kim, King, Kyo, Mai, Nakaruru. We have Raiden, Rock, Rugal, Rio, Toto, Yamazaki, Terry, Vice, Yuri. And then we have 4 secret bosses. We have Evil Ryu. We have Shinakuma. I'm sorry, 3 bosses. Evil Ryu, Shinakuma, and Ultimate Rugal. Or God Rugal. So overall, and sorry, Orochi Iori is also available. So 4 boss characters, which can be toggleable in the character select in the option EX settings before you launch the game. It's by far one of my favorite fighting games of all time. it is also what I consider my real introduction to SNK, King of Fighters, Fatal Fury, all that stuff. This is where it all came, where I first originally um, truly started learning about these characters, and it made me want to go into that library of games of SNK, your Fatal Furies, your Art of Fightings, your Samurai Showdowns, King of Fighters, stuff like that. Um, I would put it up there as one of the best fighting games of all time as a whole. Just because of the differences in fighting styles and how they brought these two worlds together, expanded on what the original was and made it an even bigger. Um, Overall, it's a fantastic game. Um, when it comes to the different versions, and I know some people have their critiques of each different version, I'm not that good of a player in this game, so I can't say for sure if there is a big difference between um, the different versions, the role canceling, because I can't role cancel to save my life. Um, the I know that there was talks about this game only being online as the EO version, the rank system. So I have not I played online, but I did not see a difference. I did not see a way to change it. So I'm not completely sure on that, but there is a lot of discourse about this being the EO version being as a standard for online modes. Uh, which kind of sucks because you should be able to change it. There is no cross play between consoles, so if you're playing on PS4 or PS5, you're playing against players with PS4 and PS5 when you're playing online, and that goes for all the games. And if you're playing on PC Steam, you're playing with people on PC or Steam. One thing overall about this collection, specifically for this game, was that um, they added a versus mode that we didn't see in the Marvel collection, so it made it very difficult to rematch, especially in tournaments. You can also set the set counts to what you're trying to make. Always got to hit the special with Akuma, but yeah, so that wasn't a welcome addition. When Marvel collection originally ran, we ran a Marvel vs. Capcom 2 tournament, and it was hard to rematch. You had to wait till because you're in arcade mode, and you had to wait till you got through the whole win sequence, and then here comes a new challenger. One thing about the versus mode, because it seems like they took the console version of the versus mode and tweaked it to put it into this version. The layout of it is different. You'll see it when you get into the versus mode for this specific game. You cannot change the order. So as you see in the arcade mode, you can change the order that you're playing playing your characters. You don't get to do that in the versus mode. So the order you select them is the order you will play the characters in. So like here, my order, my specifically, I have Ryu, Kami, Akuma, but I usually play either Kami or Akuma first and then leave Ryu as my anchor. And I'm able to select that. You cannot do that in the versus mode. So you have to select the order that you want to play your characters in. So that was that's always that's a that's a little annoying, but at least we have immersive mode, right? When it comes to the different grooves, so We'll go from the top. So you've got C, A, and P grooves that are all Street Fighter related grooves, and then you got your S and K grooves, in S, N, and K. So groove C is actually the Aism from Alpha 3. You get dash, rolling, air guards, counterattacks, tactical recovery. You can cancel level 2 supers into level 1 supers or special modes to extend your combos. It's a 3-level super combo system. Strengths, and I'm reading this off online. Meter efficiency for offense and defensive uses. Always available, big damage and stun potential off level 2 super cancels. Small damage bonuses up to 5% for just filling up your meter. Weaknesses, it requires high proficiency in footsies fundamentals to get most out of the groove. The A groove, it's pretty much the Vism groove for Alpha 3. So it's a custom combo. So think of it as a mix of, I would say just think of it as the Alpha groove of Alpha 2. You get dashing, rolling, counterattack, and fall safe. You can activate the sorry, I had a little bit of a power flicker here. The custom combo after activation, which is invincible. Custom combos allows all normals and specials to cancel into each other, ending the combo with a level 1 super. Strengths, constant threat of activation with full meter. Optimized custom combos are incredibly meter efficient. Some high top tier characters are extremely dangerous in A groove. Weaknesses, can be vulnerable without meter. Some high and top characters are not at their best in A groove. The P groove is derived from Third Strike. So parrying and super combo system. You get dash, small recovery, and small jumps and tactical recovery. Well-timed parries can result in free jump in attempts and combos against the opponent. Weaknesses, no other defensive options. Success in completely reliant on how well you can parry. Success is completely reliant on how well you can parry. Single level 3 meter bar limits meter flexibility and efficiency. Weakest guard crush meter in the game. Now the S groove is derived from the King of Fighters 94. It's extra gauge and special move system. You can run, dodge, small jump, counterattack, tactical recovery. Dodge, tax allow for instant knockdowns or combos off a successful dodge. Characters with safe, abusable level 1 supers have high comeback potential. Weakness, must give up Oki advantage to charge up meter. Dodge, nowhere near as useful as roll cancels in rolling grooves. Any mistake made with low health will kill you and neuter S groove advantages. The N groove is from 98, specifically its advanced mode meter. Advanced gauge and special move system. Meter stocks and 20% damage boost when activated. You can run, roll, small jump, counterattack, counter movements, fall safe. Strength, variety of movement options make rushdown tactics effective. Stocks can be activated on demand to keep momentum on the damage boost or diffuse momentum to threaten a level 3 super as needed. The K groove is a blend between the Samurai Showdown and Garu Mark of the Wolves meter. So you get Just Defend and Rage gauge system. Rage meter fills as you take damage, and Just Defend, resulting in massive offensive and defensive bonus when filled. Run, small jump, and safe fall. When it comes to the tier list, one of the grooves that gets used a lot, the two grooves that I feel I've seen used a lot is A and K groove. Right after that is a C groove. Everything after that, I would say, is is low tier. N Groove, they say is mid tier. P Groove is low tier, and then S is just the worst. I personally use the A Groove, just because that's what I'm used to. But the K Groove does seem to have its advantages, and it's something that I will probably try in the future. I've also used A Groove just because of custom combos. I'm like I've said before, I am a alpha fan, and I'm trying to utilize more custom combos, so that's always fun. Um, as we progress through the game, you can fight different bosses. There are achievements in the games, so for the collection. So like one of the achievements for SNK two Capcom vs SNK two is fighting either Bison slash Vega Dictator whatever, or I want to say it's Geese. Geese is the other one. And then later on at the end, there's a secret boss. Not losing fights, using the super if super finishes gets you to that goal. At the end, the secret boss can be either Akuma or Rugal. And if you meet certain specifications, you could either fight Shinakuma or Ultimate Rugal, God Rugal, however you want to call him. So, in the past, I have beaten Shinakuma, but I've never beaten God Rugal. I think overall, God Rugal is the harder one of the two extra hidden bosses. It just sucks having to fight, and we'll see it play out here. It took me forever to finally beat him. I did have to change my team in order to beat him, and it took me quite a few tries. I think it took me longer to beat Rugal than it actually it took me to play through the entirety of the arcade mode. And I have to look deeper into how you fight each one, because I don't know if it's just luck of the draw or whatever. But when I changed my team, I went with a level ratio 1 Akuma and a ratio 3 Ryu. And that's where I was finally successful in beating him. I know that this game also ramps down the difficulty as you lose, so they might have also attributed to it. But as you can see, he just tore right through Akuma. Akuma's already a glass cannon as it is, let alone in a ratio 1 versus a ratio 4. So that was also kind of crappy. But just look at the way that Rugal moves. By the way, anytime you rematch, he changes his groove, which sucks because I felt that probably with the K groove, and he was probably the hardest to beat. I could not get anything off on him. He was just very much just tearing me apart. And recovery time is insane. Like you saw, he went from stun to like not even a frame later, he's already back to normal. So, and I'll say this. This is the game that I have the most fun with. This is the game that in this entire collection that I have the most fun with. I always wondered if there was something after this specific ending, which made it seem that way. But overall, this was probably the game I was most excited about. I had fun playing it in tournament. That was also cool. Am I a CVS2 player? Absolutely not. I've seen players play this at majors like at CEO, and I would get really, really wrecked immediately. But it's a fun game to play. This collection is very fun. And overall, my thoughts on it, This is definitely an 8 out of 10 on the collection. I think the inclusion of Capcom Fighting Evolution, I just felt like that was a throwaway game. I don't feel like that was a necessary game to have on there. We could have had something different. I don't know what, because I can't think of anything else, but it's not a good game, and I don't know why it's there. That's just my opinion on that. That was the one game that I felt very strongly against in this collection. Um, but it was fun discovering what Project Justice was, Plasma Sword, um, getting to replay Power Stone 1 and 2. And it's all about game preservation because at the end of the day, these games were stuck. And unless you had the console versions of these games or you found other means to play these games in not so correct ways, I guess you could say, you really had no access to playing these games in a modern setting. And this is what this is giving us. Is it the best? Probably not. It could probably be better. I know that some people feel that the rollback netcode could be better, and I felt it could be a little bit better too. For someone that doesn't notice those things as much, I felt it compared to the Marvel collection. So that's definitely some things that can be improved. And seeing how we've already gotten a patch, which is very unusual that we got a patch for Marvel collection when we've never had real patches for these collections. I would not be surprised if there's some sort of patch in the future for this collection as well. So let me know what your thoughts are on this collection, um, in the comments. So with that said, I am signing off. As always, be good or be good at it.